Don't feel bad when I'm down, I'ma be okay. This red gon' come right back around, I smack the BOA. Only the members don't come round if you ain't down one. We go back like Tom Brady on a shotgun. You always finna be great when I came out the wound. They hate that I'm a butterfly that came out that cocoon.
Yo, this is the S2000. Got this throttle body spacer for it from Torque Solutions. Right here, Torque Solutions. It's a spacer for the throttle body. Came with the spacer. Got some dang on bolts, because you know the thickness of this thing pretty thick. I don't know how thick it is, but you know it's thick like my what? So you have to have extended bolts so it'll go through there. It also came with these gaskets. Came with 2 gaskets, and these are the thermal gaskets, so these are thick too. So between this spacer and these thick butt gaskets, man, my throttle body gonna be way out here. I already took off the intake box. Whatever intake you have, whether it's aftermarket or the original one, you gotta get all that stuff out of the way. This video is just to show you how to take off the throttle body. Throttle body, you have these 2 screws right here. This one is actually a stud with a nut on it, which not good because they give you bolts right here, so I gotta figure out how to get that stud out of there. So that's good stud, that's a bolt, and we got another stud right there. Then we have a bolt over there, so we gotta figure out how to get them studs out, because I don't have a stud remover, but we'll see what's up. So get those out, and you also have a couple water lines under the bottom. So just unloosen this one, pull it off. Unloosen that one, pull it off. And this bad boy should be ready to go. Of course, unhook the map sensor connector. Get that out of the way. Why?
Just do it!
Oh yeah, I got the bolts off, the nuts off. Disconnected the connector for the TPS. The map sensor is still right there, but I think I can pull it away without disconnecting it. I had a zip tie on it. I don't really want to take it off, but it's ready to go. I got the water line off right here. That one's still on, but it's on there tight. Once I pull the throttle body away, I should be able to twist it off. So if you can't get it off like that, just pull the throttle body away and then twist it. It should come off, and then we should be able to put on the new Torque Solution spacer. I'm sorry everybody, you gotta take off the dang on throttle cable. Anyway, you just give it full throttle, and then once it's full throttle, just slide this ball out, and that's it. It should come off easily. Wide open throttle, slide this pin or ball, whatever you want to call it, slide that out, and this bad boy should come apart. Alright y'all, this little one down here is no joke. I'm getting it off, but I just want to show you how I did it. I originally said pull the throttle body off and just wiggle it out, but since it's a stud down here, you can't just pull it off because this stud is pretty long, and it's longer than this baby rubber hose right here, so you can't pull it all the way off and wiggle. So what I did, I left it on right here, and you gotta break the seal of this hose. Oh yeah? Okay. So you gotta break the seal of this hose right here, and I use a flat tip. You know, do it at your own risk. You might end up tearing it or whatever, but whatever. You know, whatever, man.
That nigga crazy.
So I just kind of pressed on it, tapped on it, and once you break that seal, as I was pulling away from the actual intake manifold, I was tapping it so it'll slide forward with it. And once you get it loose to it come off like this, now you should just be able to pull off the throttle body and just pull it from here and leave it on there. Let's see how that go. And it worked. As you can see, the hose is still on there. And I just pulled it off from there, left that. Well, you don't have no choice but to leave that down there because this is metal. It goes up. Idle control valve and all that good stuff. So the throttle body is up there. While it's off, you can clean the back side of the throttle body, get some of that carbon deposit out of there. You can see in there it's pretty dirty too. If you want, you can try to clean that. But yeah, this is the original gasket. This thing is paper thin. Ow. Yeah, thing is paper thin. So that's the old gasket. We got that off. Now let's see if this spacer. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm reaching for the part right now. Bear with me. So that's if the spacer actually. You always want to test fit stuff, you know. So let's see if this thing can actually line up and go on. And yeah, it lines up, goes on. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put some vice grips right here and see if I can get it to spin. Let's see how that go. Yeah, boy. Yeah, boy. The vice grips work just fine. All right, now I just want to bring this to your attention. If your throttle body is full of carbon deposit buildup, you might want to do some spring cleaning and get that out right now. Your engine ain't nothing but a big air pump. The quicker you get that air in and out, the faster you go. And these carbon deposits will slow air down. So remove them and get that airflow back. I even went inside the actual intake manifold and cleaned that out some too. I don't know if you can see that, but I cleaned that out. Now, this is the gasket, thermal gasket. Thing's pretty thick too. You want to make sure when you put these gaskets on, make sure the gasket lines up with the pattern on the throttle body, okay? So, as you can see, got that little loop up there, and it goes like this. You see how all the holes and the pattern goes together? You want it just like that, okay? Usually it'll only go one way, or the bolt holes won't line up, but there may be some throttle bodies out there where you can get these things flipped around and it'll still bolt up, you know what I'm saying? So just make sure those patterns line up before you try to bolt this thing on this car. Alright, now check this out. I want to show you how you go put this thing back on. As you can see, this bad boy thick. Look, about an inch. Plus the thermal gaskets. Those are pretty thick too, but you can see the threads coming out the back. It's still not pressed all the way flat, so more is going to come out like that. But if you want to keep it easy for yourself, don't try to fit it to the actual intake manifold. These studs are long enough to where you can just pile it on the throttle body, and then you can line it up and start threading the bolts in. So just make sure the patterns are lining up. You see how it's lined up all the way through? You look in those holes, everything is lined up all the way through. So make sure it look like that before you go to put this thing on, so you won't have no problems and have to take it back off. So this is how it look once you get it on there. I only have 2 bolts in it, just to mock up, show you how it look. Got a bolt right there. And there's the bolt under the bottom, see? The only thing that I see that may cause a problem is the one that caused the problem coming off. This was pushed a little further in, but it's metal, and plus it's on this bracket right here. So all I did was kind of pull it. See how it bend a little bit? Don't break it. Do it at your own risk. Give it a little tug, and then it'll line back up. Remember, this was made to fit a stock throttle body. So the angle of it was a little off. By this being a spacer and pushed it out some, I had to angle it to where it met up again. But as you can see, this hose is still too short. But that's an easy fix. These hoses is what, maybe $1 for a foot at O'Reilly Boys or AutoZone. Okay, so we almost done with this bad boy. I got everything hooked up. There's several things that I've seen because of the thickness of the spacer that I have to kind of deal with. My intake was real close to my fan, to where, you know, when you're driving the engine, it's gonna move some, it's gonna have some flex. So I just put this little, I don't know, it's like a little foam thing. I usually find them at work, and I keep them just for this purpose, because I know my Integra with the turbo and the intercooler and the piping. This piping on my Integra for the cold side or whatever the case may be, sometimes they might rub against the fender or some type of metal. You hear the vibration. So I get these from work, for that purpose, to kind of wedge it and get the noise to go away. So that one worked out just fine for that one right there. It wasn't touching the fan, but it was real close. It might have just had about that much on it. We don't like that. So I just wedged that in there to kind of extra precaution. Nails. Throttle cable. It's adjusted to when the throttle body, you know, was a closer in. So now you about an inch away. This cable is going to be too short, but that's an easy fix. Just unloosen these two bolts, and you're going to have to thread this bad boy more that way.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And that'll get this cable closer to the actual throttle blade or the connection right here. And once you get in there, you just adjust it back and tighten the two bolts. Now, make sure when you get it over here, you're getting wide open throttle. Have somebody get in the car, step on the gas pedal, and make sure this is wide open throttle before you lock these two bolts down. Cause if you out there, you want to get all you can out of this bad boy, you're not even getting wide open throttle. That's no bueno. Alright, everything is complete, put back together. I had a hose laying around. I tied it into that. Now, the throttle cable. Usually this bracket is behind this middle bracket. This goes first, and then this goes over it. But what I did, I pulled it to the front. And as you can see, it's normally bolted up with two bolts. You slide it over the stud, put the two nuts on. But if you put it where it's supposed to go, this is too far back, throttle cable's too short. So what I did, I just move it up a leg, bolted that one down, put the other one back to bolt down that, and it's solid. You'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? It ain't going nowhere. So now the cable reach and everything is good. So sometimes you just gotta Mickey Mouse things to save some money. So hopefully that works out. Okay. Now turn this thing on. Check for water leaks, vacuum leaks, high idle, check engine lights, whatever the case may be, because this is something new you adding to the car. And if the computer don't like it, it will let you know. So let me fire this thing up and see how it's gonna respond to this big old throttle spacer. So good. I don't see any water leak. I don't hear a vacuum leak. I don't have any idle surge. It's idling normal. I have no check engine lights. That's maintenance required. Need to change my oil, which is a good thing. Alright, just need to take it for a spin and see if I can feel any difference. Throttle body spacer, torque solution. It looks good. So far it worked good. Got any questions, leave them down in the comment section and I'll get back to you. If you're looking for an update, how it run, and any check engine light, just leave me a comment below and I'll be sure to get back to you. Thanks for watching. God bless. Catch y'all in the next one.